What's up, my friends? How are you guys doing? Welcome back. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I hope you are thriving. I hope you are striving. I hope you're loving yourself and loving the people that you're with, because that is what it is all about. Guys, today we're talking about a movie from 1993. I was a whopping 10 years old, man. And if I would have seen this when I was 10, I probably would have loved it. But since I saw it as an adult, but we'll get into it, guys. It's called Freaked. This is directed by Alex Winter, and you guys might know him as he's either Bill or Ted. He's one of the dudes from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, right? And Alex Winter, he directed this along with a guy named Tom Stern, I believe. So they directed this, and it is a unique film, to say the least. But before we get into this circus sideshow, hit that like and subscribe button for me, guys, because this really, like I said, if I was 10 years old, I would have dug this. I bet my 10-year-old would probably dig this if we were to watch it together. But, you know, there's a lot of movies in your life where people tell you about them. My late brother, Justin, he told me about this movie a long time ago. And he was like, man, you've got to see it. But it was out of print. And I'm not sure who recently restored it and released it streaming for you to rent or buy. But whoever did it, I'm thankful for that, because I finally got a chance to watch it. I decided I'd cough up my $6 and I would rent it and give it a shot. And guys, the one thing I will say about this film is that it has stellar practical effects. Latex prosthetics, Caro syrup, KY jelly. It has the works as far as icky, gross special effects making horrid, monster-looking creatures, and it stands the test of time. They look real, so it feels real, and it engrosses you in the film more. It doesn't take you out of your immersion. It doesn't disengage you from what you're watching, and I appreciate that. But the film itself just feels so frenetic. It feels so just busy and like it's always just moving and going. And the jokes aren't particularly funny to me. Maybe when I was a kid, like I said, I would have laughed at them. But it just doesn't, it didn't have that spark that triggered my imagination like it would before the world beat the joy out of me. You know what I'm saying? Before it beat the imagination out of me as an adult, I probably would have dug this if I'd have seen it when I was in my late teens, early 20s, but it was just so wild. But I liked the special effects. Like this has Alex Winter. He plays a guy who's like a former child star, former actor. He gets into some stuff. He winds up going somewhere and they turn him into a mutant. And then he's in this freak show with all these other mutants. And we got Mr. T. We've got Keanu Reeves playing, he's uncredited, but he's playing one of the characters. And there's like a cowboy, but he's a cowboy. You know, it's funny, man. Like some of the sight gags are funny. But the overall film itself, I just felt like it was kind of all over the place. We have Randy Quaid playing a crazy mad scientist, kind of like how he is in real life. He's just, you know, he brings that Independence Day drunk crop duster pilot feel to it before Independence Day. You know, I mean, what was this, 3 years before Independence Day? So, I mean, you know, this was when Randy Quaid was in his prime. And his performance, again, super just kind of energetic. Everything was so energetic, and it just didn't resonate with me, guys. But the thing is, I say all these things that you know, parts of it that I didn't like were the storytelling. The story itself was kind of just mundane. I wouldn't say it was exciting. And it really didn't hold my attention that well because everything was so just kind of crazy and everything was happening all at one time. And there was so much to take in visually that it was hard to follow the story chronologically. Because I'm sitting there looking at the cowboy with the snotty nose, and I'm looking at the dog man, and we got Bobcat Goldthwait as like a sock puppet in a suit, and I'm just looking at all these awesome kind of Muppet-esque characters, and it reminded me of the Garbage Pail Kids. Like, I really did. And I just, where the Garbage Pail Kids I really enjoy because the story is a little bit wholesome, it's a little bit gross, but it's still fun. This was just gross, not necessarily wholesome, not necessarily entertaining aside from just the visuals, you know? I guess the main thing that I'm saying about this would be that it didn't engage me as far as the story goes and the acting. The acting wasn't great. It wasn't like, oh man, these guys should win awards. No, this would probably qualify for a Razzie today, if we're being honest. Because the story is what I didn't like. The acting I didn't like. But the characters and the way they are visually portrayed is awesome. This movie really reminds me of films like Garbage Pail Kids, Nightbreed, films with monsters in them that aren't necessarily monstrous, if you know what I mean. They're horrifying looking, but they're not. Just because you're a bad guy does not mean you are a bad guy. You know, like Zangief and Wreck-It Ralph. Like, just because they're monstrous does not mean they are monsters. You know, I like that about the film. But overall, I think it was just kind of a mid-level film. You know, I don't think it was something special. I think that if, you know, it was one of those products of its time. I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it today, but if I would have seen it when I was 10, I would be talking about it to this day, telling people you got to see Freaked. Because when I was 10, this would have sparked my creativity, my imagination. I would have gone in my room. I would have gotten my action figures. I would have reenacted scenes. You know, it's that type of movie for a younger audience to see that would spark their imagination and make them create. And for that, I applaud it. But as an adult, it was just okay. So if you got some, if you have nostalgic feelings about this, guys, by all means, go get you a copy of the upgraded version, the restored version. Get you some of that because you'll love it if you loved it when you were a kid. If you're an adult and you've been hearing about it all your life, check it out. It's worth a one-time watch, but don't be surprised if you find yourself thinking that the film was lacking in some way. But that's it for Freaked, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out for a little bit and talking with me about it. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And as always, my friends, I am going to keep making them as long as you keep watching them. Peace out. God bless you, and I will see you soon.